Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. Now, the topic of today's discussion will be the teachings of Kuan Yin, the female bodhisattva from Buddhism, and their comparison teachings to Freemasonry's teachings, and the philosophies and the moral lessons and the philosophical lessons that we can apply to our lives. Kuan Yin is somebody that is not that well known, and not too many people know about her. So I wanted to make this comparison video to reflect on the parallel teachings and how we can better apply them to our lives and in our journey. So I hope you like what I have to offer, and thank you for always stopping by. Kuan Yin is the female bodhisattva, the goddess of compassion and mercy, and her job is to stay in the realms of man until all living sentient beings have basically passed the cycle of the samsara and reincarnation, and everyone has reached nirvana and has basically found their way out of this third dimension system, you could say, or this third dimension existence. And Kuan Yin is there as a form of mercy, and her teachings teach free will, compassion, love, mercy, forgiveness for self and others, which I found a lot of parallel comparisons to the paths that I follow of Sufism and Freemasonry. So I wanted to make sure that I reflected what Kuan Yin stood for, and how there's a little bit of truth in all of these paths. Each path that I have covered, they all have a little bit of oneness that's in all of them. And that's the reality. We're all one. And that's what Kuan Yin is teaching us, is that we are all one indeed. In this path, to show mercy to all living sentient beings, and in the aspect of helping each other, loving one another, uplifting the fallen state of mankind, and doing what's right at all times, even in the form of a goddess herself. And what the story describes, that Kuan Yin, that she could be in the higher realms, but she chooses to stay where she can hear the cries of man and hear the prayers that people give out, so she can be there to assist mankind until each soul has crossed through that threshold of being an ascended soul. So that's one thing I really liked about Kuan Yin, is the aspect of being selfless, which I can relate to the Masonic path as well. This is the prayer known to Kuan Yin, known as sorrow and hope, and it goes like this: Kuan Yin, you who hears the cries of the world, please listen to our outpouring of sorrow and hope. Just as when frightened, children seek protection and refuge in their mother's comforting arms, so do we children of the Dharma seek protection and refuge in you, when saddened and horrified by the suffering of samsara. But who are you? You have nothing other than wisdom and compassion, the wisdom and compassion of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and our own latent wisdom and compassion that can grow to become like yours. In tragedy may we turn to wisdom and compassion, and may be comforted by its protective embrace, seeing that all beings seek only happiness and never misery. May we abandon despair, anger, and blame. May all those who suffer from loss and grief, from horror and outrage, become fountains of wisdom and compassion, flowing out to the world and healing beings' pains. May all those who have died in unavoidable tragedies release all attachment to this life and go on to the next with their hearts of wisdom and compassion. And with love, may we send them on with prayers, that they be born in your pure land. By holding ourselves and others responsible for our misdeeds, may we too hear the cries of the world. And with compassion, may all of us overcome the self-centered attitude and create a better world, one in which everyone seeks to benefit each other. And the most beautiful thing that I found about Kuan Yin's prayer and the aspect of compassion and relating it to the Masonic path is to basically uplift the fallen state of mankind. We live in a society now where there's so much fear, anger, anxiety, despair, lack of commitment, lack of relationships, lack of family units, and we are suffering. How Buddha himself, from the same faith, says that life is suffering, and we have to basically find our way out of this simulation, you can say, so we can ascend back to the higher realms. One of the prayers that a lot of the followers of Kuan Yin in that aspect of Buddhism, they have this prayer called Om Mani Padme Hum, So you can recite Om Mani Padme Hum 1,000 times. And they said those who do that receive the blessings of Kuan Yin. And you basically put a shield of light and protection around you and your family. So before you sleep, you can be like Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And that means the flower that is in the lotus. That basically helps you find that, basically centers yourself. And it tells you to see the oneness in everything. And to find the love and light in wherever you look. To not look at everything by being overwhelmed, by being pressured. To let go of all of these things. To know that they are only feelings of this world and not what your true nature is. Your true nature is to be happy, to love one another. Not to be competitive, not to operate from the ego, not to hurt one another. That's not who we are. And we must be better than that. Now we'll cover a lot of the quotes that are out there by Kuan Yin, which have been translated into English, and to give my own personal interpretation from my Sufi and Masonic parallel comparison point of view. So the first one being, do not drag the negative past or future into the present. Understand the possibilities of the present. The present is our way, our vehicle for changing reality. Your escape hatch is right here. This reminds me of what Rumi said, that in order to find your way back home, you must look inside, and how a lot of these holy scriptures that tell you that kingdom of heaven is within, or in the Quran it says that God is closer to us than our jugular vein. And it tells us to be present in the now, because yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's all now. What we perceive as linear time and space, that's not what it is. Everything is happening in one linear timeline, where the past, present, and future all exist at the same time, and how some of our destinies and some of our fates and realities are shaped by these certain expectations and outcomes. And we must be willing to forgive and let go. Many people cannot move on to their future or their present because they're stuck in the past, because somebody hurt them, somebody said something to them. They have a hard time building relationships. They have a hard time building something with somebody. They have a hard time helping humanity. And that's what basically this is teaching you from a Sufi and a Masonic point of view, is that in order to help humanity, in order to help each other, first you need to learn to love yourself, forgive yourself, heal yourself, and know yourself. The aspect of knowing thyself is knowing thy Lord. And what Kuan Yin is teaching us is that focus on what you have today. Yesterday is gone. Focus on the good that you have today. You could go to sleep and not wake up, and that's the end of your journey in this lifetime. So be grateful and not be in resentfulness that something happened and now I gotta be all uptight about it. That's fine. Just put it on a bridge and let it float away. Focus on the goodness of today. You woke up, you have a beautiful family, you have running water, you have a bathroom which has plumbing. Imagine the people in some countries that don't even have plumbing, what they have to go through to even have a shower or use the bathroom or be able to cook food. They don't have gas. So be grateful for the little things that the universe or God has bestowed upon you, for you and your family, so you can live a comfortable life. And be present in the now and learn how to forgive and let go, so you can have the proper frequency to attract what you're trying to manifest for the future. This one I could relate it to the Masonic aspect of improving the rough ashlar so you could become the perfect ashlar, since you are the temple yourself. And this saying goes, the body is a temple. You are a projection of love. Love the earth, love the air, love the water. Love the fire, love the part of self that is of the ethers. And it's telling you the aspect that in Taoism they say the Tao is the only reality. In Sufism they say Allah is the only reality. And what they mean by that is that form of source, what the spiritual people call the source light. That is the only reality, and we're all a projection of that reality manifested here on earth, trying to understand each other and trying to find our way back home. Basically God playing hide and seek with its own self through us and through all the living beings that are here, trying to understand itself. And that's what it's telling us, that the only reality is love. Everything else is an illusion. That's our true nature, is to love one another. Our happiness is our true nature, not what this world puts us through. A system that's just designed to make you go crazy and not designed to give you a break. with tax bills, with utility bills, with mortgages, with rents. That stuff will never end. It's an endless cycle to keep you just going, 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 not designed to give you a break. And you got to realize, did I come here on this earth just to do that, or was there more to my life than the system that has been programmed for me? And that's the aspect of learning how to look outside of the box, or this box that you have been boxed in, and know that you are here to basically guide each other and love each other. Just like how the greatest gift for a Mason is the relationships and the memories that we build with one another in our brotherhood, and to be able to touch each other's hearts, and to be able to be there for each other's families. That's the greatest gift and experience that you can earn, not just in Masonry or Sufism or the followers of Kuan Yin, but any path. That oneness is that we're all these temples of God, and we have to love and respect each other, and stand up against injustice, against ego, against anger, fear, anxiety, because that is not who we are. Don't you see, when people are always happy and smiling, that's when you see them at their best, because that's who we are. And when you see them in despair, it's always a form of self-destruction in many ways. So we must focus on the aspect of being better, knowing better, and thinking better, as what Kuan Yin is teaching us in all of our paths. This also reinforces the previous slide, which tells you to always walk the path of love and the path of the heart. Develop a mind full of love, be compassionate and restrained. In virtue, arouse your energy, be resolute, always firm in making progress. And this aspect is like you have to walk the walk, and also by talking the talk. You have a lot of people out here that might go to religious institutions, or they might pray 5 times a day, go to church every Sunday, quote scripture, but I have known some of them to be wicked people, because you also have this aspect of the agents of chaos. They're not only exclusive to one group. I've been to many different countries in the world in my travels and in my journey. That fight between good and evil exists everywhere. It exists in all countries, races, and religions. The aspect of light and darkness. So what Kuan Yin is teaching us here is that you need to be one that's on the side of compassion, love, virtue, and absolute progress, because good is destined to win, and even evil knows that, and they are seeing how much they can get away with before that time does come. And ultimately, if you operate from a winning standpoint, which is love and light and goodness, and having a selfless point of view by being there for others without desiring anything, then that's when you truly help yourself. Just the other day, I had made a post on my social media saying that I see a lot of people suffering. They're suffering mentally, emotionally, spiritually, those that live by themselves. And I offered them that if there's anything I could do for you, please tell me. Because by helping you, I'm helping myself, right? We're all mirror reflections of that one creator energy, and separated into these different physical avatars, but we're all one source. And I always offer them, you could join me at my local park. I'll treat you to green tea. We can meditate. You can talk to me, whatever's bothering you. Why? Because by helping others, we're helping ourselves. And that's what we need to focus on. Not hatred, not division, not just worrying about yourself. Think about others. Because what you do for others ultimately is returned to you, times 10. This is one of my favorite quotes from Kuan Yin, because it relates to the universal oneness that we all share for our Sufi path, Masonic path, or whatever path you follow. There is no right or wrong path. There is only the path that you choose. Whatever you choose, there will be many opportunities for you to grow and expand. And the beauty is, my friends, is you have one mountaintop, but you have many different paths there to get it. And it'll be A road, B road, C road, D road. And there's esotericism and mysticism in each path. You have Sufism for Islam, Kabbalah for Judaism, Gnosticism for Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism. There's so many different paths out there. And each path basically has practices, meditations, incantations, chants, prayers, everything that helps you gain the realization of self. Self and your higher self above you, which is ultimately your path back to God, or source, you can say. So nobody is right and nobody is wrong. Everybody is in the middle. and we're all following our own individual journey. Just like how in Hinduism, Krishna says, no matter what path you follow, it ultimately all leads back to me. How Manly Palmer Hall, a great Masonic scholar, who also said that the true Mason is not creed-bound. He finds light at every altar. He finds love at every faith. And that reminds me of my story when I came to this country, and how I used to attend Bible classes, Quran classes, same day. I used to go to the Sikh Gurdwara temples and sit and eat with them when they give out food to the people. And I realized that everyone is teaching you the same exact thing. Everyone's teaching you love and light in their own way. So how can we condemn one another, saying that he's going to hell, she's going to hell? You might have people that might set up tables in the local market or in the train station. One's going to be handing out pamphlets to recruit one to their cause. The other one's going to be recruiting people to their cause and saying that, and they're both be teaching the same thing. They both have the same exact teachings, but one will be saying, if you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell. The other person will be saying the same thing, but they're both teaching the same exact thing. So in relation to what we see here, and the aspect of Masonry finding light at every altar, and all holy books being considered volumes of sacred laws, being on that aspect and being honored, then you find light and oneness at each path and at each place you can find. There's good to be found everywhere, and all of the truth has been fragmented into these different bodies, and if you put all of it together, then you have one united body, and you can be able to learn and apply and have those teachings in your own life and in your own heart and in your own mind and in your own soul, and heal those aspects of hurt or division when they tell you that he or she is different from you. And remember, anything that causes division or separation is ungodly, whether it's those in religious institutions or spiritual institutions or any institution that tell you that just because you're with us, you're better than them. Anything that tells you that you're better than somebody else, watch out. That's a trap of the darkness and the ego. Nobody's better than anybody. We're all equal and on the level, as the Masonic Brotherhood teaches us. No one's above you or beneath you. There's truth and love and light in each path and way of life that is out there. And as one human family, we must find that understanding and awareness. This also reinforces the aspect of compassion that I covered in the previous slide, is that you have to release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love of light that is within everyone. Now in Sufism, we believe that before the creations of the heaven and the earths, there was the light of Nur Muhammad. And from the light of Nur Muhammad, or what the Sufis call the Muhammadan reality, all creation, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, the trees, the soil, the oceans, humanity, all life was from that one source. So in my path, if that's teaching me if everything comes from that one light, then how can in my heart have hate for anybody, no matter what their race, religion, or appearance? Because I know all of those are exterior selves of the false self, not the soul aspect. Because I know on the soul level we're all one, and we must not focus on any deceptions of the exterior world, knowing that there's more to this reality than what's shown to us, especially in this 3D reality, and how a lot of the stuff and spiritual warfare and battles happens on the fourth dimension. And those effects are reflected to us down here in this realm. But in order for us to come to that realization, we have to find that love and light and understanding within everyone. If I know that I have the same light within me that the other person does, then that aspect of hatred goes right out the window, because you know that you and I come from the same source, and we must be willing to have that compassion for each other in this path that we're walking, no matter what aspect you follow. Many spiritual paths, including the Masonic path, honor the aspect of the free will, and so does the path of Kuan Yin, where she says that there are the waves and there is the wind, seen and unseen forces. Everyone has these same elements in their lives, the seen and unseen, karma and free will. So the aspect is that you do have a predestined fate, where your successes, failures, offspring, marriages, all that stuff has been determined in a way. But you also have the aspect of free will, which a lot of these spiritual paths are teaching you, to know better, think better, do better, and follow the path which is more suitable for you in your life. and to also teach you the aspect of the seen and unseen forces that operate in your life. And many that go through trials and tribulations, heartbreak, sadness, they think that the world has abandoned them, that they're alone. And I've been in those situations, the aspect of order out of chaos, or the black and white tiles of masonry, good times, bad times, good times. Not every day is going to be a good day, because you wouldn't be who you are if you didn't go through challenges. So you have to accept everything as it comes, so it can make you better on who you're meant to be and who you're destined to be for this lifetime. And ultimately, I thought I was alone, but I never was. I always had friends, people, different elements out there that were always loving me, guiding me, protecting me, looking out for me. So what it's telling you is not to lose hope. Whatever challenge or aspect you face in this life, know that you are loved, and you will always be where you're meant to be when needed and guided. And this life is like a video game. You always find the right character, the right item, the right doorway, the right situation. All happens at the right time. There are no coincidences, and there's no such thing as something good or bad, because ultimately everything happens the way that it's supposed to be, right? It's like Morpheus in the second Matrix movie, when they go meet the Merovingian and they're in the elevator, and Neo says that, did we do something wrong for him to not give us further access or further dialogue with us when they went to go meet him for dinner? And Morpheus says, no, everything happened the way that it was supposed to. And as soon as the elevator opened, their help was right there to guide them to their next step. So we must not lose faith. Everything has its right divine timing, and we must surrender our will to the divine and know that everything will work out the way that it's supposed to. Nothing more, nothing less. To build upon the previous slide, which tells you that everything has a larger divine plan to it, this also reinforces the same by saying that a flower unfolds to the best of its ability due to the conditions around it, and so do you. You unfold to the best of your ability. Now, a lot of people beat themselves up. What's my purpose? What am I meant to do? And I tell them, whatever it is that you're currently doing, that's your purpose. And has how times, seasons, years, people, everything changes with time. You're in this journey like a guest house. You checked in and you could check out at any time. You might have certain people that might come for a certain amount of time to teach you the experiences and the lessons that you might need to guide you or trigger you in some way so you can walk the path or improve on the things on the path that you were meant to. There might be certain seasons or certain places, certain people, certain events. So everything's laid out like a video game for you to go through everything. And this is what it's telling you, is that what is it that you're good at? Do you like talking to people? Do you have any healing abilities? Do you have any talent that can help you or help humanity? Is there any talent you have that can help you make a living and be your own boss instead of being in a system which is not designed to give you a break? You can be your own boss and live your life accordingly with a balanced lifestyle, with access to spirit and access to your income and the worldly life. Like how in Sufism we're taught that you need to keep a balance between deen, which is your faith, and dunya, which is the world. So it tells you that, yeah, you have the aspect where you have to make a living and pay bills and take care of your family, but the other half of your aspect, you have to find that balance. And that balance is to dedicate time to your community, to God, to yourself. And you have those same teachings in Masonry as well, on how the Mason must balance his time and live a balanced lifestyle in order to be the best that he can be. This aspect of what Kuan Yin is teaching us focuses on the immortality of the soul, where she says that what people need to remember is they are eternal beings and that they never die. And we share the same concept in Freemasonry, where you have the concept of the immortality of the soul, how you will always exist, whether it's in this life or the Grand Lodge above, or anything that the Grand Architect intends for you. Same thing in Sufi Islam. You have the aspect of a mineral that goes to a plant, plant goes to an animal, animal goes to man, man goes to angel, and angel goes back to God. How we say when somebody dies away that to Allah we belong and to Him we shall return. And ultimately, you always exist in some way, shape, or form. And that's exemplified in the Matrix series as well, where at the end of the third movie, Neo supposedly dies, but as you see in the ending, when the machines carry him away, he turns into this big ray of light. So he continued to exist even when the sunshine that they see at the end of the inside the matrix, which is also what Neo had become. And in the fourth one, he has manifested back into the matrix. So you never really die. And I was joking with my friend the other day that, in this I might have existed in previous lives. I'm here now in this life. In the future, I might be back as something else. So I'll always be back as something to aid and assist humanity for, the soul that I am. And I know who I am and what I stand for and what I need to do. So I know, just like how Kuan Yin has a mission that she will never leave this realm until every single sentient being has ascended out of the cycle of samsara and death and rebirth to reach nirvana. There are other souls out here who continuously come back and forth to assist humanity in different climes and spaces and different lifetimes, so we can all get back home together, because we're all in this together in the grand scheme of things. And once you get to that level of comprehension, you will see that love and light for yourself and for others, knowing what this whole thing is about. Love, light, and happiness for all beings. The final quote I would like to share from Kuan Yin is, "The cool thing about free will is that even if one has a huge bag of karma, there is still a lot of free will for all those souls coming into the world." And this basically teaches the aspect of Masonry is that you get out of it what you put into it. And same thing it teaches us in the Holy Quran with the Sufi aspect, is that man can only have what he strives for. So you do have the aspect of free will and all the stuff, and the aspect of knowing good and evil, but ultimately you must know who you are, what you stand for, and what you need to do, and have a game plan on how to address your problems and how to address your aspect of self-improvement. And if you're having problems, be strong enough to look in the mirror and admit that I have a problem and I need to fix it. I was having a lot of issues in my life within the past few years with many different things, and I looked in the mirror and I said, okay, you got yourself in this hole, now you're going to climb back out and be 10 times stronger. And the aspect of, Batman, even in the third movie, where he falls down the hole and it takes him several tries to get back out of it. And that's the aspect of order out of chaos in Freemasonry, where you must fall down in order to get back up stronger. And this is the aspect right here, is that life is what you make it. You could either make it good or make it bad. What Kuan Yin is teaching us is that our nature is ultimately good. So focus on the good, and that strive to do that, to be a better example for humanity. Not through your words, but through your actions. That's how people will learn. Anybody can claim to be enlightened or religious or all that stuff, but if you're not exemplifying that through your actions, then all that is meaningless. So ultimately, you have to lead by example. Thank you for watching. I hope you were able to take something away from this, as I related the teachings of Kuan Yin to my personal journey of Sufism and Freemasonry in parallel comparison. And I hope you were able to gain something from your path as well, with the aspects of the relations that are there of these different teachings and paths. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at salmonshake911@gmail.com. All images used in this presentation were retrieved from public domain searches and are the rightful property of their respective owners. The images used in this video are for the purpose of non-profit awareness and education, which is protected by the copyright laws of fair use, education purpose. All my videos are for non-profit and education purposes. The opinions and teachings expressed here are my own under free speech and do not represent anyone or any organization, which I have to point that out because a lot of people seem to have a problem when you're putting out meaningful content and trying to unite humanity. So we always have to protect ourselves against the agents of chaos. Thank you for watching. All rights reserved.